I'm just in the process of writing the second class of the course that I'll be teaching next year, and so I'm writing all about ego, and I thought that would be a good topic to chat about. Anybody that works with me definitely knows something about ego. I can't imagine doing a session without teaching people about it, because I feel that without being aware of what it is and how it can really be the thing that is running your life and the thing that's destroying your life, in a sense, you can't gain true mastery or freedom over how you feel and the decisions that you make. So it's a topic that's big. It's, I think, often misunderstood. I think it's a topic, it's a concept that takes a long time to understand, to truly be able to identify when it comes up, because it's clever and it's manipulative, and it I mean, when I talk about it like that, I don't mean it's some outside entity that has power, but it is clever, and it disguises itself. Really, it's fear, and fear is clever. Fear does disguise itself and wreaks havoc if you are not aware that how it can present itself. So ego is an aspect of our brain or our mind that we get, we all have it when we come into this form. If we have a body, ego is attached. I used to think that it was just kind of this really awful thing that we had to deal with when we were in this form. But the more I understand it, the more I am realizing that it's actually a really good teaching tool, and there's some important aspects to it that really can help you to understand where you're at and where you have some work to do. So it's that voice that is inside each of our minds, inside each of our heads, that is extraordinarily critical. It's fearful, you have it all your life, it is your own voice, and so that's what makes it quite difficult to identify a lot of the time. You think it's yourself, you think you're giving yourself support. When you say things to yourself like, oh, don't trust those people, or they probably won't look after you, or you won't be safe if you do that, or don't go for that goal, don't go for that dream because you most likely won't succeed, you can actually think that it's keeping you, like it's you looking after yourself, that you've got your own back when you're not making yourself vulnerable, or you're not allowing yourself to dream too big. You can actually think you've got your own back. Throughout our teenage years, it definitely starts to really gain control by telling us things like, you know, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough, you're not smart enough, you know, those people don't really like you. You know, teenage years are extraordinarily difficult, awkward time. You have no idea really what you're doing most of the time. Hormones are running completely rampant, and there's a lot of pain in teenage years. It's kind of your first dealings with heartbreak and loss and separation. It's kind of when you first start to feel a sense of like you're on your own. That is ego's job as well. It's to make us feel separate. It's inside your head, busily telling you, no one knows how you feel, no one understands how you feel, and when is that not more active than when you're a teenager? So it's always trying to convince you that you're separate, but it's always trying to convince you that you're not enough, you're not good enough. And we listen to it because it's our own voice, and you know, horrifyingly, we can even start to think that it's intuition. So that when you want to do something, when you really want to go for something, and you have that voice in your head saying, I don't think you're going to get that, you can actually listen to it by thinking it's intuition and not going for the things you really want to achieve. So the most important things that we can do is to know that there is ego going on in our minds, but there is also another side. And if you just start to think of ego as being fear and the other side as being love, you can really start to make, you can really start to identify where is that voice coming from. So if you have a voice going on inside your head, that voice is telling you something. How does it make you feel is the most important thing to think firstly. Is that making me feel less than? Is it making me feel crap? Is it making me feel fearful? Is it speaking to me in a way that's actually quite derogatory? It's ego. Is it keeping me small? Is this advice stopping me from doing something I really want to do? It's ego. Is this voice making me feel loved? Is it sounding supportive? Is it sounding encouraging? Then it's what I call your right mind. So you have this kind of toing and froing going on between ego and right mind. And which one you listen to will really determine how your life turns out, what it looks like, what it feels like. That's not to say that if you listen to this voice, you won't have fear. There's going to be fear. Everybody feels fearful and everybody feels the same. This is the thing that voice is trying to tell you. Nobody understands you, nobody feels this way. They've all got their shit completely sorted, they all know what they're doing, they're not scared, they're all confident, they've got it together. That's the biggest crap you can ever be told on the whole entire planet. No one has their shit together, nobody's more confident than anybody else, everybody's fearful, everybody's scared. They are just at different levels of actually not listening to that, of actually being comfortable with being scared and doing something anyway, and of actually knowing that, you know, what if that voice isn't true, and what if I really can do this? So identifying ego first is the most important thing. Choosing not to listen to it is the second most important thing. So these are the things to know about ego that are most important. It's in everybody's head. Even though it's your own voice, it's not you. It is not guidance. It is not intuition. It is not coming from a higher place. It is intended to keep you small and fearful. And it loves for you to be in conflict. So on the one hand, it might be saying to you, who do you think you are? You can't do that. Who do you think you are? And on the other hand, it might be saying to you, you're better than her. You should be doing that. You do that 1,000,000 times better. In both circumstances, it builds up conflict inside you, and it can bring conflict with other people, which it loves, because when we're in conflict, we're not actively moving towards where we want to be. We're not feeling the way we want to be. Conflict keeps you stuck. Conflict keeps you in the crap. So they're the most important things to know about it. It is not you, even though it's your own voice. Everybody is hearing the same stuff, just some people are choosing to listen to it and some people are not. It is designed to make you feel separate and keep you small. You aren't really different to everybody else. We are all going through the exact same thing, experiencing all the exact same fears and emotions and doubts about ourselves. And it loves conflict. So when you start to recognize it, don't fight, good word, don't fight against it. The natural thing is that you think, well, I want to get rid of that. I'm going to tell it to piss off and don't do that. It likes that too. I mean, I know again, I'm talking about it like it's a separate entity, but it feeds off your doubt, your fear, your conflict. It feeds that. Think of it, I often say to clients, think of like the old trains when you used to have to shovel coal into, you know, the heater, I suppose, to keep the train going. There are two there. Which one are you busily shoveling coal into? Are you busily shoveling that fire and fueling that fire of ego, or are you fueling the fire of love, which is the peace, the calm, the trust, we're all in this together, everybody feels the same way. Talk to your friends. You know, if your voice is saying, talk to your friends about how you feel, reach out to somebody, get support, they'll understand you, they'll still love you. That is definitely your right mind. That is intuition, that is something higher. If somebody then takes what you give them and does something with it that doesn't feel great, like maybe disrespects it, your ego will come in really quickly and go, see, told you, you would have stayed safe if you would have stayed with me, you wouldn't be vulnerable like you are now, you never should have told them. They're going to use that against you now, because it's just looking for the conflict. If that were really the case, you've just told somebody that doesn't respect themselves, so they can't respect you. That's all there is to it. Find somebody else, find that person that will respect you, respect yourself first, respect yourself enough to share your doubts, your fears with people, but of course choose wisely. Of course choose people that are trustful and respectful and are going to be caring with what you tell them. So start there, start by identifying it, and we'll build on that in another video. Hope that helps.